Mass Effect is a franchise that's by far mostly known for its excellently written characters and its unique spin as a sci-fi RPG. Whenever you mention Mass Effect, many fans tend to think of their favorite squad mates. For female Shepards out there, it might be the potential love interests like Garrus or Thane. For Brosheps, it could be Tali Zora or Liara. But whenever someone asks me who my favorite characters are, I can't help but avert my eyes from the beloved Normandy crew as I gaze over upon the massive hulking monstrosities that are coming to harvest us all. Ah yes, the Reapers, the godlike sentient starships, allegedly controlled by the infamous Starchild. Here's the thing though, as much as the majority of us dislike the idea of the Catalyst, fact remains that before the blue annoying brat had ever been written into existence, the Reapers were, up until that point, one of the scariest bad guys in fiction. Now, you might think that this is a pretty hefty statement to make, but let me break down to you why I think that the Reapers are such great villains and why I think they deserve to be on the list of some of the greatest villains ever. And of course, it all starts with Sovereign, the first Reaper we encounter in the series. Sovereign is at first thought to be a gigantic flagship controlled by Saren and the Geth, up until the mission on Vermeer, where Sovereign itself reveals that it is in fact the mastermind behind Saren's downfall. Now this was the first time we ever heard a Reaper speak, and wow, was it chilling.
Reaper, a label created by the Protheans to give voice to their destruction. In the end, what they chose to call us is irrelevant. We simply are.
You see, this right here, this was the moment where you, as the player, experienced the curtains covering the galaxy getting pulled back. Sovereign's conversation was an eye-opener. It was a masterful display of the power dynamic shifting in the Mass Effect universe. You were speaking to a god. Sure, a machine god, but a god nonetheless. And it was not speaking with Shepard, it was speaking to you. Sovereign was telling you, the player, that you're nothing but an irritation. Like a mosquito, you were an annoyance, and you were about to get swatted, as Sovereign was about to open a gateway to the dark space outside the galaxy for its Reaper siblings to come pouring through. Thankfully, Shepard and the crew makes it off Vermeer at the last moment, but at the cost of one of your squad mates. But after the conversation with Sovereign, everything had changed. Before, it was a controlled undercover mission to root out a rogue agent of the Council Spectres. But now, a timer had been turned on. A timer counting down to galactic extinction. The stakes were suddenly so much bigger than you could have ever imagined. Sovereign arrives with a Geth fleet and starts hammering the Citadel defense, and as it approaches the station, not even several Turian warships can stop its onslaught. In the end, however, Shepard, Joker, and the crew manages to stop Saren and Sovereign before it's too late. Sovereign fails in its attempt to manually open the door to dark space with the Citadel, and as it gets bombarded from all sides, it finally gets blown to pieces by a well-placed shot from the Normandy. Now, in Mass Effect 2, the Reapers take a less direct approach in order to invade the Milky Way galaxy by using the Collectors to kidnap entire human colonies. The reason to this was, of course, to build a new Reaper through the use of human organic material. Now, this is another aspect of the Reapers that makes them just that more horrifying, as they've now been revealed to not only be machines, but techno-organic hybrids, sort of like the Borg from Star Trek. This reveal also rings back to when Sovereign said that they were each a nation, explaining that each Reaper is literally a nation of bodies and minds of entire civilizations. The Collectors are also revealed to be mutated Protheans, which tells us just how monstrous the Reapers' methods can be to achieve their goals. They will literally stop at nothing to harvest the galaxy, it seems. But in all actuality, this is all done by order of Harbinger, the true big bad daddy Reaper, well up until that point. Like a puppet master, he controls the collectors, hurling insults at Shepard as he jumps from body to body on different battlefields across the galaxy.
I won't direct this personally.
Doesn't matter.
I know you feel this.
Now this is where a lot of fans feel like Harbinger turned into a bit of a Disney villain because of his constant verbal abuse. But then when we finally talk to Harbinger at the end of the Arrival DLC, we actually get a conversation that's reminiscent of the one we had with Sovereign. Sure, it isn't as threatening and impactful, but this conversation, again, gives some form of personality to at least the leader of the Reapers. You can actually hear how Harbinger is getting riled up by Shepard constantly stopping their inevitable return, showing us that they indeed are individuals, albeit more like giant hive minds.
Know this as you die in vain. Your time will come. Your species will fall. Prepare yourselves for the arrival.
Now we arrive at Mass Effect 3, and this is where the Reapers finally manage to make it to the Milky Way galaxy. And saying that they're powerful is a complete understatement, as they quite literally cut through Earth's combined defenses like a knife through butter. And they do this all across the galaxy, all at the same time. The harvest had begun.
Lieutenant Commander Williams, we're in sight of the spaceport. ETA 3 minutes.
We made it to the Normandy, taking heavy fire. Oh god!
Now Shepard's struggle against time throughout the third game really tells us how dire the situation really is, as Shepard constantly has nightmares triggered by the fear of losing. Despite all of Shepard's past efforts, this could be a fight that's completely unwinnable. Now, it's been said that BioWare sort of shot themselves in the foot by making the Reapers as powerful as they were, but I don't agree. The absolute power they represent is why they work so well within the confines of the Mass Effect universe. It makes the struggle against them that much more powerful. Lessons from the Screenplay made a video last year about how they could write a Mass Effect TV series, and in the video, Michael, who's the mastermind behind the channel, compared the Reapers to the White Walkers in Game of Thrones. They serve the same function as both a ticking time bomb as well as overpowered villains that just won't give you a reason to why they're doing what they're doing. And as they advance in their onslaught, we can just watch as our heroes struggle helplessly against something so monstrous and unknowable. Lovecraftian, for a lack of a better word. But it all changes on Rannoch, the home planet of the Quarians, as here we finally fight a Reaper head-on. And yes, it might be smaller than a standard Dreadnought, but it's no less powerful. Shepard commands the Quarian fleets over Rannoch to bombard the Reaper from orbit, and as it collapses, it engages with Shepard in our very last conversation with an actual Reaper. But this time, with all that we knew of the Reapers up until that point, I just couldn't help but feel sorry for it. As much as it seems like grandstanding when it just refuses to explain its reasons for harvesting the galaxy, it almost seems like it's ordered not to say anything. That it wants to explain, but it's not allowed.
You cannot comprehend the magnitude of our presence.
We might surprise you.
You represent chaos. We represent order. Every organic civilization must be harvested in order to bring order to the chaos. It is inevitable.
The saddest part about it is that this thing right here is the amalgamation of millions of lives that were forced to become a single mind. As a final word, Shepard can choose to put one final round into it, but I always felt like the Paragon choice is more fitting here.
A philosophy reminiscent of the Quarians. Observe the results.
You, whatever species you came from before the Reapers decided to preserve them. They're dead. They died thousands of years ago. And now they can rest in peace.
Shepard reminds the Reaper of what it is, and after a moment of silence, it shuts off. Yes, now the millions of minds inside it can finally rest in peace. Of course, now all of you probably want me to talk about the catalyst, so let's do that. I've made it pretty apparent on my feelings about the so-called Star Child in other videos. We all know that it was written as a plot device so that Shepard could make a choice at the end of the game. And while I've always felt like the catalyst was a bad idea, after playing the Legendary Edition over and over again, I've come to realize that I like the Reapers even more as a result of my dislike for the catalyst. You see, in the end, we find out that the catalyst is the mastermind behind the cyclical harvests of the Milky Way galaxy. Sure, the Leviathans were the ones who created the catalyst in the first place to find a solution to an everlasting problem, but they're not to blame for what their creation chose to do. The catalyst is the ultimate villain of Mass Effect, and you might dislike the thought of that, and, well, I totally understand. But from where I'm standing, the monstrous nature of the catalyst has in some way made me feel so incredibly sorry for the Reapers. Throughout the millions, perhaps billions of years that they've been used to harvest the galaxy over and over again, they've all been forced to do so by a higher power. Sovereign wasn't lying when he said that they were each a nation, but they had no choice but to serve. They were just tools for a higher purpose. You see, the Reapers are the perfect foil to Commander Shepard. They are gods that are stuck in a never-ending loop, and no matter how powerful they were never allowed to choose, something that Shepard does throughout the entire trilogy. And in the end, Shepard picks a choice for them, which in my mind is a pretty powerful thing. And that, my ladies and gentlemen, is why I think the Reapers are such memorable villains. Mr. Olton, signing out.